Well, thank you. It's actually Bielski, and you're not the only one that has done that before. So kind of unusual name. But first of all, I would like to really thank the Kentucky River community for inviting us today on this important topic. So with that said, basically Deterra, I just want to give you a brief overview of who we are and what we're all about. Basically, Deterra is a deactivation system, is a safe medication disposal pouch or container that can be used in a home or a clinical setting. We're on a mission to reduce drug abuse and the negative environmental impact that it is having on our communities. It's the only scientific proven product out there to actually deactivate and destroy the drugs. So with that, I just want to turn it over to Nancy Devine, our COO, that will give you a little bit of history of our company and how we came about. So take it away, Nancy.
Thanks. Just thanks for all of you for attending. We're very happy to be here. I just wanted to give a brief kind of history of where Verity is at without trying to spend too much time here, but we've actually been around since 2011. We were originally developed with this technology that was designed to solve an environmental problem. So the developers of the Deterra deactivation and disposal pouch really were looking for disposing of fentanyl patches. And the first product we really marketed was called Meds Away, and it was for that purpose. We realized really quickly as the opioid epidemic came into play that our product could be used for a better purpose or a more expanded purpose in destroying medications at home conveniently, which would reduce the supply chain and hopefully reduce a person's first real interaction with opioids, which we know has become such a dangerous thing. So we actually applied for a funding, a contract. We were awarded a contract through the National Institute of Health to develop this product out for that type of a market. We did win that award. It was a $1 million contract, and it really helped us with the research and development to ensure that our product was going to work for that purpose, deactivate all of the components and medications that are put into the pouch, and be safe for disposal in the household trash. So that's kind of how that all began. We started to market under the Deterra brand then in 2015. Shortly after that, our current CEO, Jason Sunby, joined the team, and he's really been instrumental in growing the company and getting our product name out there to important government associations and states, legislators, et cetera, across the country. We have really good relationships with both CADCA and the DEA Educational Foundation. They officially endorse our product. It's actually the only product that either of those organizations endorses, and we're very proud of that. I joined a couple of years ago, sort of on the supply chain and operations side. And since then, we've got kind of what we feel now is a full product line, from the clinical side all the way to the at-home disposal pouch to help organizations, employees, community members destroy and dispose properly of their excess medications, including opioids.
Okay, as Nancy said, and I actually forgot to introduce myself with my role in the company. Again, my name is Rick Bielski, and actually I'm a business development manager for the Southeast region of the United States. So I would be your contact in Kentucky. I make frequent stops in Kentucky, so especially in Frankfurt. As Nancy mentioned, we have many organizations that we have partnership with. One of them being Safe Project, and we do a thing with them, actually, what do you want to call it, Take Back Day events with them, where people can log into our website and receive a Deterra pouch at no charge, and it's mailed to their house. So that's been very successful, and we basically do that in April and October. So if you sign up under our website, you can get our newsletter mailed to you, and you'll be able to see the SAFE project program going on in April and October. As Nancy mentioned, the Community Anti-Drug Coalition of America and the DEA Educational Foundation has endorsed our product, and this is the only product that they have ever endorsed. So we're quite honored with that. Also with our partners, we have some very valued customers, very diverse set of customers, as you can see. One of the cool things is with it, it's used in many different outlets. One of the outlets is up in the upper right-hand corner is the Maryland Department of Aging. What we did a special project with them of 10,000 Deterra pouches being sent to senior citizen living communities. And basically what we did, we sent out to 20 different locations, and we sent them to the directors of the senior citizen community. And what they did, the director of each community, they actually handed them out, knocked on the doors, and gave them and educated the senior citizens on this. And they said they'd be back in 2 days to retrieve the postcard. And I don't know if you can see it, but here's a quick sample of it. And the directors went around to each location and 2 days later and picked up the business card or the postcard with the questionnaires on it. And the questions were stuff like, what did you dispose of? How much did you dispose of it? What was the ease of using the Deterra product? Great results from that. The senior community is known to hoard their prescription drugs. Firsthand, my parents did it. They had their shoe boxes full of their medications because they felt like, oh, we paid for this, or we might have to use it later. And so they hold on to them. So with the senior community, it's very important to get those medications out because their grandkids might be coming over, their friends might be coming over, going into medicine cabinets. So it's very important for the senior citizens to get rid of their medications. Just another one, Express Scripts. We have a great partnership with them. They actually co-dispense it with any type of medications that they prescribe or mail out. The last one I'll hit on for you to think about is capital caring hospice. Once a loved one has passed, there is a lot of medications left over. And I didn't realize this until a personal experience that I heard that when they prescribe, say 25 milligrams of something of an opioid for pain reliever, they up it then to 50 milligrams. Well, not realizing why can't you just take the 2 pills of 25 milligrams to make it 50 milligrams? The reason for that is there's aspirin in it. So they don't want to give an overabundance of aspirin include with that pill. So those 25 aren't any good. Then they go to 50, they might go to 75, then they're going to 100. So all those pills are left over. What Capital Caring is doing is they give them to their nurses. And once a nurse is called that a loved one has passed, they will come in with a Deterra pouch and they will take the drugs and use our pouch to destroy the drugs right away. Let's see, Twin City Orthopedic, quick one. Our COO went to have surgery done about 6 months ago, and he didn't mention anything, but he was given a Deterra pouch when he was released. Now let's get to the fun stuff. How does this work? I'm not going to go much into the science of it, but actually, I'm going to put it close to the screen. This is activated carbon, and Nancy's going to talk a little bit more about this. It's in a water-soluble pouch. It's kind of like the pouch that's in your dish soap or your laundry detergent. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take my medications. I'm going to put them in. And I forgot to open up my water. Hopefully it doesn't go. I want to fill it halfway with warm tap water. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to set for about 30 seconds. What I can hear, what happens is the water's hitting that pod. It's releasing the carbon. and that carbon's going to have air in it. A piece of carbon kind of looks like a piece of coral reef if you put it under a microscope. It has many, many holes in it. And what's going to happen is the medications, once they start breaking down with the water, it's going to go into the holes, which is kind of like a piece of coral reef. And basically it's called adsorption. And Nancy's going to talk a little bit more about this. I don't want to steal all her thunder, but basically it's ready to go right now. And all what I'm going to do is seal it up. I'm going to give it a little shake, and I'm going to throw it into my garbage. So very easy, 3-step process. And people always say, well, how much does that thing cost? And our CEO always mentions it's a cup of coffee. That's all it is. So to get something like that easy for a cup of coffee to destroy medications is very important. So now I'll turn it back over to Nancy, and she can talk about the science of it all.
Okay. I think, what might be important for this audience to know is that there's a lot of evidence and science behind our product. I know a lot of you may be using grant-funded sources to distribute Deterra, and they want to make sure that we're using, that all of the programs are kind of based on evidence. And so there's really 3, and I'm actually going to talk about a 4th one at the end about what we consider to be the evidence behind our product. 1, it works. So go ahead, Rick, to the next slide. And the way it works is really, really simple. Rick, you explained it very well, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but really the activated carbon destroys the drugs to the state that based on our research and based on third-party independent research that validated our research, it has the ability to deactivate any organic compound as long as you use it according to the label instructions. You put the right amount of medication per the right amount of carbon. It's a very simple formula, and it irreversibly destroys the drug. So this renders it inactive, and you're able to throw it in the household trash. Our product has a patent. It has several patents. It has many patents actually, but the main one is to destroy medications in a sealable container. So it really can't be replicated by others. It also eliminates that environmental contamination. So instead of people throwing their pills in the trash or flushing them in the toilet or down the drain, this deactivates those drugs and makes them unavailable for environmental contamination as well. It's very easy to use. You don't have to bring your drugs into the kiosk. You don't have to travel with your car. You're not putting them in the mail. It's just very easy, and like he also said, it's affordable. So that's kind of those are the points on Deterra being a great product that works. The next point is really that it has the ability, and you can change the slide if you want. It changes behavior. So there's been 3 third-party independent studies that we actually didn't even know they were doing until the studies were published. One was with JAMA Surgery, one was with JAMA Pediatrics, where this chart, this little infographic is up, and I'll go through it a little bit. And the other was from a physician at the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix area, and it was just recently published in Anesthesiology Today. All 3 of those kind of came to the same conclusion, which basically is if somebody is given one of our products, they're way more likely to actually dispose of their leftover medications, which is great. So on this chart, I'm just going to have you focus on the 2 bar graphs. The first one was really the amount of people that were just given standard care. And the definition of standard care actually, in this case, included a fairly significant amount of education on how you shouldn't keep your leftover medications, that it's important to dispose of them. They had the patients actually watch a video on it, and they gave them locations of their nearest take-back kiosk and site. They did not give them a Deterra pouch. After a certain number of time, they went back and they got information from those patients' parents, because this was a pediatric survey. A very small amount in the blue actually disposed of their medications properly, even with that intervention. So that means the proper disposal, the way we classify it, is really using Deterra or another at-home product that works, which they're few and far between, and taking to a take-back or a kiosk or using the mail back. So those were really the proper, what we defined as proper disposal. You can see the next set of patients that were given the same amount of standard care and education, but given a Deterra pouch, you can see how many actually properly disposed them. And again, those were people that used Deterra, which was the majority of these, and then some also used a take-back. Even better is, obviously because of the increase in proper disposal, the improper disposal went down significantly, meaning less of those medications ended up in our waterways, our lakes, our streams. And then also the gray area, those were people who just kept the drugs. So you can see that those medications, when given Deterra, we got those medications out of people's homes. So that's just one of those studies, and the other ones kind of mirror the same results. Next slide. The last evidence-based solution is that we're really a environmentally sound product. And I'm not going to go through this, but the pouch itself, the plastic that the pouch is made of, comes from a renewable crop, sugarcane. So the sugarcane is made into ethanol, and about half of our pouch's plastic components are made from that I'm Green product. We are certified from the USDA as having a 50% or more bio-based product, and therefore, through this process in manufacturing, we have a much smaller carbon footprint overall. And that was analyzed by our supplier using a lot of different data, including transportation, manufacturing, the resources needed to grow the crop versus taking a resource like oil or gas. So there's a much smaller carbon footprint overall by the plastic that we've chosen to use in our pouch. Just additionally, on the environmental side, we work with a manufacturing company that is LEED Silver certified. So they have that certification. They're one of the only large plastics manufacturers that has the silver certification. They have a very good focus on sustainability. They've reduced a lot of their waste, ink wastes, hazardous waste for printing, etc. And they're actually powered by 100% wind generated energy.
One thing I just want to hit on with what Nancy said before regarding the graph and charts of everything. Madison County, you know, if we look at a map, very rural communities. When we look at the rural communities, you know, sometimes it can take an hour to get to a take-back day or 2-hour drive to get to a take-back day at a certain day, certain timing. Also, there might not be transportation to take a medication to a drop-off box at a police station. Some people might be intimidated to go to a police station. So that's what, when we look at rural communities where our pouch, it's a really good fit for disposal, proper disposal of the medications.
Yep.
Okay.
Just before you go on, I do have one other sort of proof point, because I took a look at the participants list, and I noticed that some of you are maybe from health plans or payers or PBMs. We had recently worked with a health economics group out of California that they worked with us on looking at what's the potential based on evidence. I think there were 9 different studies they looked at for Deterra to not only save lives, which is our primary importance, but when you're trying to integrate our product into a health system, they care about money as well, like most companies do. So we kind of translated all of the data that we had available, in very conservative ways, including like we took what's the propensity that somebody would have leftover meds, what's the propensity based on, again, studies that they would dispose it, use some of these JAMA studies on to get the data points on that, and translated it all down into really net cost savings for a payer. And what we've shown is that we could save a payer up to 40 cents per employee per month through the distribution of Deterra with their member base. And we've been talking about this to some of the larger groups and you know, to demonstrate really that those savings exist to their organization through distributing Deterra.
All right. One thing is, over the years, we have developed our product like Nancy was talking about, and we just, it's been about a year now, we launched our new products, which is containers. We knew the institution, the hospitals needed something bigger, more robust. Pharmacies needed different type of products. So we increased our line of products offering. If we look at institutions such as a hospital setting, the DEA always still says, you know, use the coffee grinds, use a kitty litter. And I come from the medical waste industry for 20 years. And I heard a story about 7 years ago in Pennsylvania where I was talking to a coroner at a convention, and he mentioned that, you know, 14% of healthcare workers have some type of addiction. And he went on to tell me a story about a nurse that had an addiction. And she ended up stealing the coffee grinds from the anesthesiology department. And as you know, an anesthesiologist is going to dispense of propofol quite a bit in the coffee grinds. So basically what happened was a nurse ended up taking the coffee grinds home with her, knowing what was in it, and she made a cup of coffee with it. And it was not a good ending. The coroner did state that she possibly might have had 2 sips of coffee. So when we look at the institutional into the containers, we are going into a lot of hospitals in Kentucky right now. So the medications can be destroyed right away and unretrievable. Instead of having them sit around and that sort of stuff, waiting for a hazardous waste company to come and pick them up, that's why we're offering the 1 gallon and 2.5 gallon containers now. With our product line, everything like Nancy is talking about, the science behind it. Everything on our containers, on our pouches, tells you exactly how much product can go in. Now, it can do the pills, patches, liquids, creams, films, but the science behind ours is that carbon can only take so much. So like our 2.5 gallon container can take up to 2,500 pills. Our medium pouches take 45 pills, and it comes down to the science and the research and development that our team has done to come up with these numbers and validate those numbers. That Nancy was talking about, the NIH grant that we received, and it was certified by the Mercer University School of Pharmacy, certified everything that we're telling them. So our next product launch that we did, ultimately, we'd like to co-dispense every time you're giving a medication. And it's not just opioids. Talked to a girl in Kentucky. She had an addiction, and she basically, it started off of cough syrup because of codeine in the cough syrup. So we believe in the co-dispensing. So we started up the retail kit. We know if everybody is educated and then they're given a pouch, they're more likely to use it. So for pharmacies, that's why the retail kit, you know, ultimately, we'd love the world to say, okay, here's your medication, here's your Deterra pouch, and everybody knows what to do with it. So that's the goal behind the retail kit. Any type of pharmacy setting, we highly encourage somebody to use this method. So I guess our time is coming up shortly, and I just want to get to the last slide, and basically my information is on there, and I forgot to add our website, but it's www.deterrasystem.com. I'm not mistaken.
Both.
Now I feel bad here. So
www.deterrasystem.com. Yes.
there it is, system.com. Okay, along with my email address. So feel free to reach out to us. And if you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. We do have a couple of questions. One is, what if more drugs are added into the pouch than recommended?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nancy.
So carbon has sort of an unlimited deactivation capability given enough time. So I would say if you accidentally put a few more in, that it's not going to be the biggest problem in the world. Through all of our studies, we've done different sizes of medications, different milligrams of active ingredient. We've tried to make it as similar to the average household situation as possible, being fairly conservative on our numbers as far as how many go into a pouch. So although it's not a bright line, 90 pills, it's safe, 91 it's not, we have to give some guidelines as far as our capacities go.